All right, all right, all right. Testing. Making sure we're good here. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, everything covered. Okay. Welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today we're here to talk about what went down on Friday Night SmackDown. But if you guys could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comment down below, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. We have a lot of things to talk about here. I want to first start off by telling you something that Bleacher Report clearly did not report on during their rundown. I looked at the results of SmackDown, and before we even jump into anything, I have no clue what the fuck that was. I'll check on it later. Don't mind it. What I got here is the list of WWE superstars who have been released from the WWE. This also includes NXT stars as well. So I'll only be reading the, I guess, quote, important NXT stars. Right now, so Tyra May Steele has been released. Malik Blade, Trill London, and Luca Fascisno has been released. Dante Chen has also been released. They didn't add that, but there are main roster releases, and I want to break down each one before I even jump into the Friday Night SmackDown. And to these releases, these WWE superstars have been released. Only a handful I feel bad for, simply because of how everything transpired and the just the consistency, but the fact of the matter that WWE had these guys for at least a year, and within a year made them feel so important and then just dropped the fucking ball. And this is why I will trying to transition into covering AEW stuff now, because AEW is trying to build an identity, and I respect what AEW is trying to do. I'm not saying that they're the best company. WWE clearly on top of the mountain right now, as far as, wrestling businesses go. But as far as handling contracts and handling superstars, making them feel important and trying to keep them around longer, that's where Tony Khan kind of almost, I would say, shines. So here are the superstars that have been released as far as I know. Everyone in the Wyatt Six. So Nikki Cross, Bo Dallas, Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, and Joe Gacy have been released, which sucks because they were a group that was trying to keep Bray Wyatt's memory alive, and now that time has already passed. It's like, okay, 4 years gone by, now that's nothing. Raw is where they actually shine. Like, Raw is where they should have been, and I don't know. They got rid of all 5 of them. So this one really gets me. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega got released. These two took over the Karrion Kross gimmick, and then they got released. And WWE's initial plan was to have Aleister Black play a big important role to boost Orton and Cody's rivalry. But now that's gone. That's thrown out the fucking window. And I feel bad. I feel so bad for Aleister Black. I mean, you guys can't even understand right now. I feel so bad for Aleister Black because this man did a lot of things. I have a full thing right here about Aleister Black by Drainmaker. So the Drainmaker on Twitter. Shout outs to you for this one. I love that you posted this. I wish you posted when he originally joined WWE, but again, he was fired, or I should say fired, but released. He was released by WWE June 2nd, 2021. This is Aleister Black we're talking about, okay? He joins AEW about a month later, July 7th, 2021. He would leave AEW 3 years into his already, almost 4 years with AEW. He would then join WWE a few months later, April 25th, 2025, and exactly a year later, ladies and gentlemen, exactly a year later, maybe a day off, a year later, he would get released in 2026. So WWE kept him for a year, AEW kept him for 3. I think that immediately shows you where you belong. Same with Andrade. Andrade too. Andrade's like the first prime example of this too. He was in WWE, got fired, got released by WWE, joined AEW, stuck around for a couple of years, went back to WWE, and then gave him a year, and then the year went up, and then boom, got released because there was nothing there. So I feel so bad for Aleister Black, and I hope Zelina Vega, I hope both of them go to AEW and as a couple and fucking they put on a great performance. Help, I mean, even Karrion Kross. I would like to see that feud. Zelina Vega and Aleister Black versus Karrion Kross and Scarlett. That would be a match I would book. That's a match I'd be paying. I'd see. Kairi Sane also got released, so we're never going to finish that. That story between Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io, that's not going to happen. So they're going to move into Io and Asuka. Kairi Sane just played puppet. Now she's no longer getting the treatment that she deserves. That's my birthday sister, man. Why release my birthday sister? What the fuck? That's messed up. Chris Sabian and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns have been released, and I feel as equally as bad as them. They are the other two. So Aleister Black and Zelina Vega and the Motor City Machine Guns. They're unnecessary. You don't even use your tag team division anymore, even though you promised us a tag team division. And for what? Just to defend these on a show? And now you get rid of one of the hottest tag teams that you fucking could have made. You weren't even doing anything with them either. But you could have done something with them. You could have had them you could have had them help Johnny Gargano get his confidence back and make that storyline fit into the 3-hour booking that you have or 3-hour time slot that you have created. But no, just release them. A couple other people which I knew were probably coming. It was just a matter of when. Santos Escobar, Apollo Crews, Zoe Starks, and Alba Fire, also known as Kaylee Ray. Zoe Starks was injured. I forget where she got injured, but she got injured, I think 2 years ago, and she hasn't been back since. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, all these superstars here are from the main roster. Most of them from SmackDown, opposed to Raw. And I already know exactly where most of them might end up. Personally, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, they might end up on the indie circuit or AEW. Personally, if I was, I mean, I have no control over where they go, but if I were to were to guess where they would go, Nikki Cross would probably be indie circuit. Bo Dallas has a good chance at the indies. If not, he has a good chance of getting to AEW. Dexter Lumis, indies. Joe Gacy, indies. But for those two, I would say TNA. Eric Rowan, probably retirement. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, AEW. Kairi Sane, AEW. Chris Sabian and Alex Shelley, AEW. Santos Escobar, AAA or TNA. Apollo Crews, TNA or Indies. Zoe Starks, Indies. And Kylie Ray, AEW or TNA. Just to give you a few. Now, maybe also AAA for Kaylee Ray. But again, needless to say, WWE has partnerships. So there goes all that. But yeah, I feel bad for these guys, And here's the other thing that was mentioned here that I want to throw out is that they were contacted by TKO themselves. They were informed of their departures directly from the boards of TKO. So Anil Hawaii, I think is going to cover this. Sean Ross Sapp is the one who released the report too. But yeah, TKO themselves, Tony, Nick Khan, Triple H, and everybody behind the TKO staff contacted these superstars and let them know of the departure. One of the things too is that I saw a fan video made. There were some wrestlers at a WrestleMania, I guess, convention or so, and the Motor City Machine Guns were signing autographs, and they didn't even look impressed. Like they just signed and moved on. Didn't want any meet and greet fan reactions. And you had to pay too. I saw this. So there's a lot of things going on. I'm sorry I had to address this the first 10 minutes of the stream, but I figured that this was something to get out the way first. And I hope for the best in their future endeavors. All these superstars are great talents. I can't wait to see where they end up and watch them. But now, all that's out the way. Let's talk about what went down on Friday Night SmackDown. Nothing boring, actually, really. Or actually, everything fucking boring. Let's talk about it. So, I'll make sure I'm, okay. On the heels of WrestleMania 42 from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, WWE presented SmackDown featuring appearances from the new women's champion, Rhea Ripley, and the winner of course, Saturday's unsanctioned match, Jacob Fatu. All gas, no brakes, if you know what I mean. Jacob Fatu would eventually kick off SmackDown. Jacob Fatu, try to make sure I can, show this up. Okay, that's good. Just making sure I get it. The Samoan Werewolf, fresh off of a confrontation with his cousin, Roman Reigns. I believe they're cousins. On the Raw after Mania, in which he issued a challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship match at Backlash. He hit the ring to kick off SmackDown. He recapped that confrontation only for the Usos to interrupt. Jimmy and Jay tried to dissuade. I hope I'm using that word. I hope that word is correct. I'm using. Dissuade or dissuade. I'm gonna have to you know what? Let's do it here since we're on stream. Fuck it. Dissuade. All right, dissuade. I was right. All right. Well, was it right? Dissuade. I can't believe the grammar they use. Jimmy and Jay tried to dissuade Fatu from challenging Reigns, the former suggesting he challenge Cody Rhodes instead. The latter told him that the fans could not give him everything that he wanted, but Reigns could. This brought out Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, with the former Bloodline enforcer trying to win favor with his cousin by claiming he could bring Fatu the title and his family the riches he seeks. The segment concluded with Fatu rebuffing all of them and challenging Sikoa for a match later tonight. So right out the gates, we have a complex moral dilemma for Fatu. Give in to either Sikoa or the Usos and potentially get everything he wants, or continue his path to a showdown with Reigns and potentially be forced to acknowledge the tribal chief. Yeah, that ain't happening. Graded an A, and I agree. I mean, it's going to end up being Fatu's funeral because Fatu's going to challenge Reigns. Reigns and Roman are going to have a fight. Roman Reigns probably going to retain at Backlash if the match is set. I'll have to look that up, but I'll look that up for you after the SmackDown. Starting off with a positive. Here's another positive. Julia. I was actually going to write her name in the thing. I might change it later on, but yeah, I was going to change it to the women's U.S. title match. Stratton and Julia, but I didn't know how to spell Julia's name. So now that I have it here, perfect. Stratton took on Julia for the women's U.S. title. In their second battle over the women's United States Championship in a month, Julia defended against Tiffany Stratton to kick off the in-ring portion of Friday Night SmackDown. The Beautiful Madness dominated early, targeting her opponent's neck and delivering a neck breaker onto the floor. Entering the break, Stratton sparked a comeback with a handspring stunner, but the champion caught her up top and brought her crashing down to the mat for another near fall. The back and forth action down the stretch, full of counters and reversals, accumulated with Stratton delivering an Alabama slam with then the prettiest moonsault ever to win the title, and of course seemingly end her rivalry with Julia for now. Graded a B and probably the best thing on the show. All right, there are still a few spots that did not hit cleanly, but the counters and reversals were good and the finish was strong, and the title change was needed at this point, if only to salvage Stratton's credibility. We also had some funny moments here. Pre-taped vignette showed Danhausen showing up to the Miz's house after he cursed his home previously. And the A-lister ended up in his pool. So they're really doing comedy here. Miz is really just a comedy guy now. Paige and Brie Bella took on Charlotte and Bliss. Paige and Brie Bella, the new women's tag team champions, after the former stunning comeback and an upset win at WrestleMania, hit the ring for a celebratory promo with the fans in Fort Worth, Texas. They addressed Nikki Bella and Paige's comeback before Charlotte Flair and Bliss interrupted. The Queen and Little Miss Bliss issued a challenge, taunting Paige to prove it is her house by facing them tonight. The crowd went wild. The champions accepted the challenge, and the match was on. Flair and Bliss dominated through the break, isolating Bella and cutting her off from her partner. Flair continued to taunt Paige, and before the recently returned star could make the tag, JC Jane pulled her from the apron. So this ended up becoming a no contest. But back in the ring, Laney Rain and Fallon Henley attacked the other competitors, drawing a disqualification. So there is no contest. This is a disqualification, but Fatal Influence is now on Friday Night SmackDown. That is JC Jane, Laney Reed, and Fallon Henley. So this almost feels a little bit like the Riot Squad debut back way then, you know? But this was good. Good way to get onto the main roster. I just wish that it didn't come at the expense of this great tag team match. It is about time that JC gets the call. Her and Henley, at least, were beyond ready for a run on the main roster. Reed will benefit from working with some of the best, most experienced competitors on the roster, and will get up to speed quickly if given the TV reps. So C+. We then jump into a Cody promo, the Golden Boy promo. Haha. Just 6 days removed from a successful Undisputed WWE title match against Orton at WrestleMania, Cody hit the ring to address the fans, citing Sami Zayn's condescending label of, quote, Golden Boy. Rhodes explained why he sported the color at the showcase of the Immortals, defiant in his pushback against the suggestion. With audible chants of Cody rained down from the stands, he issued a word of warning to the locker room. He is not hard to find for those who want a shot at his title. Graded an A. And just wanted to read this here. This was the promo that Rhodes needed to do. He did not wax poetically, did not relish in nostalgia. Instead, he was defiant and dared the locker room to take their shot and called out Zayn as a potential next opponent. Should he be cleared in time for Backlash, this would be a good contest for that opening. Cody Rhodes said exactly his words. To those outside forces that keep sending and interjecting into my WrestleMania plans that want to get involved in this nightmare family party, I'll make it simple. You guys are 0-3. Send your best and count your money and mind your damn business. Cody's not fucking around anymore, and I'm glad that black guy gave him that punt to the face gave him a fucking reason. We get some tag team action here, of course, even though there's no tag team division on either spectrum. 1 week after a successful title defense against the New Day, Damian Priest, well, not even the New Day, it was Kofi Kingston and Grayson Waller, but you get the point. Damian Priest and R-Truth found themselves in action again, this time against Tama Tonga and JC Mateo. A back and forth match saw the champions weather the storm of the more aggressive opposition before putting Mateo down with their modified double team truth detector for the win. Great to see. And yeah, this match just happened. There's a tag team match. Next, Trick Williams cut a promo. Accompanied by a diamond rapper, Lil Yachty, new United States champion Trick Williams made his way to the ring to a thunderous ovation. Whoop, that trick was in effect. Yachty announced that he is here to stay, liking himself to Don King and Phil Jackson, and labeled himself the Prophecy, and I love it. Great name. Great name. The Prophecy. It's almost as if, you know, he got a little rub from fucking Keith Lee, man, with the bask in his glory type shit, and I'm a Prophecy. The duo announced the end of the U.S. title open challenge, telling prospective opponents to earn it and find Williams. The Gingerbread Man mascot would then attack Williams and Lil Yachty with a candy cane, laid them out, and deliver a haluva kick to the champion, earning a chorus of boos along the way because, yeah, the Gingerbread Man revealed himself to be Sami Zayn. C+. So goodbye, U.S. Open Challenge, the most consistently watchable thing on SmackDown over the last year. Zayn is going, excuse me, Zayn is going to be a fantastic heel and appears to have a ready-made rivalry with Cody Rhodes waiting for him when his program Williams wraps up. So they want to do, I think what they want to do is a transitioning, which would be fine. They should implement Carmelo Hayes into this so that he can fucking, he can get his lick back and he can get his opportunity at that United States Championship that was stolen from, or his opportunity that was stolen from him. That WrestleMania match with fucking Trick Williams. But again, Trick now playing the babyface, Zayn playing the heel. Insert Carmelo Hayes, make it a triple threat match. I'd watch that. Or, and then you can pivot. Like, this is so perfect, too, with this. If you add Carmelo Hayes into this feud. If you add Carmelo Hayes into this feud with Zayn and Trick, right? You got your heel, you got your babyface. Now add in the middle. Add in the middleman. Because now what you can do here, and this is what's going to happen, if I was booking, this is what I would do. Got the pen out. Here comes the pen. I would do this as a transitional match, or not traditional, transitional. What's the difference? The difference is that one's a tradition, the other one's transition. The transitioning would be transitioning Sami Zayn into a feud with Rhodes so that we can transition Carmelo into a babyface to fight Williams. You see what I mean? So we're taking Carmelo's babyface run and putting it up against Trick so then Carmelo can build himself as a heel again. You know what I mean? Or if they want to go back to Williams being a heel, which he's supposed to be, then we get Williams into a heel. Right now, they're going to build off of Williams' crowd appeal and approval, and then make Zayn a more heelish type, like Morgan type heel, which is perfect because he needs that change. He needs to be a heel. And then everybody's going to like him being a heel. Nobody's going to, and Zayn's got the mic skills to do it. He does. So I'm just saying, I think they should add Carmelo Hayes in this feud and make it a transitional match where we can have Zayn lose this feud against, Trick, have Trick focus on Carmelo Hayes, his former old friend and buddy, and have Zayn move up to the world title opportunity. Just a thought, WWE. Just a thought. Danhausen took on The Miz. So the very nice, very evil Danhausen made his second in-ring appearance as he battled The Miz one-on-one action. The former WWE champion capitalized on a distraction from Kit Wilson to beat down Danhausen and have him reeling. The face painted odd to the Monsters sat up though and cursed his opponent, sending pyro into the face of both the Hollywood Ace Lister and Wilson. A quick roll-up resulted in the win for Danhausen. So after the match, he escaped from his rivals, causing them to collide at ringside in the process. Graded a C, and again, after everything Danhausen went through elsewhere, it is impossible not to be thrilled for him and his success in WWE. I mean, shit, like they really got Danhausen on a good, like Danhausen can wrestle. He's only scratching the surface. You haven't seen what he's done. Like, guys, you got to watch a compilation. Look up Danhausen compilation on YouTube, wrestling matches. You will see what we're talking about. Okay, you'll see what the people on the internet are talking about. The content creators. Rhea Ripley took on JC Jane because, well, she wanted a match. The new women's champion Rhea Ripley hit the ring for a celebratory promo, just like the women's tag team championships did, and it gets ruined, only to be interrupted by Fatal Attraction, still brimming after their attack on Paige, Brie Bella, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair early in the show. Their egotistical babbling earned JC Jane a match with Mommy, as announced by General Manager Nick Aldis. Jane impressed early and often, downing Ripley and working a headlock through the commercial break as she put the champion on the defensive. Ripley fought back, though, after the match, but still found herself fighting from underneath. By the time the Eradicator launched Jane with the razor's edge, rocked her with a running boot and set her up for the Riptide. Fallon Henley and Laney Reid. It's going to be hard to remember these names. So I'm just going to say Henley and Reid. Henley and Reid had seen enough and attacked to draw the DQ. So this one's actually getting a DQ. The heel stood tall again to close out the segment. We'd get a backstage bit with Ripley and Charlotte Flair and Bliss, so we got that. Especially considering that she doesn't have Io Sky as her partner anymore because they both went their separate ways. Io is on Raw, Ripley's on SmackDown. So B plus for what it is, and JC Jane's already improving, making herself known on the women's side of SmackDown. So that's good. But now we get to our match, and that's Jacob Fatu and Solo, and yeah, just an average Joe match. The product of the night's main event saw Jacob square off with Solo. Obviously, Fatu fucking got his win over Sikoa. After the match, as the Usos watched from the top of the aisle, refusing to help him, the Sumerian Wolf fended off all members of the MFTs, ending with a big splash to Tonga Loa through the announce table to close out the show. So, yeah. That's that. You want to make Fatu look like an unstoppable force, but when he takes on Reigns, he's going to look like he's going to be put down like the werewolf that he is. Great, a C+. But what was the overall grade? Well, SmackDown is still not particularly growing. Is not a particularly ingrown show, but engrossing. Jesus Christ, I got that word wrong again. SmackDown is still not a particularly engrossing show, but there was a lot more here to like than normal. With an above call-ups, a great promo from Cody, a compelling Jacob Fatu segment with the Usos and the NFTs, and a strong Ripley and Jane match. With that said, the main event was enough to get a meh, bring the overall grade down, and leave the fans asking why continue booking Fatu and Sikoa when the returns are never really one would want from them. Joe Hendry is going to be on Raw with a Joe Hendry concert, and you're going to see Ricky Starks next week. Yeah, how do you like that? Ricky Saints is going, or Ricky, I like to call him Ricky Starks because that's his name. But yeah, Ricky Saints. But we're going to call him Ricky Stark. Ricky Starks is coming to SmackDown next week, baby. I can't wait to see that man in action. It's going to be great. One of my friends at work is going to be fucking amazed by that. But anyway, what did you guys think of SmackDown? Let me know in the comments down below. Personally, I think that the first two opening things on the show are great. And then you get to everything else. If there's anything, and it just goes shit. If there's anything you should check out, go check out fucking the Tiffany Stratton. Go check out the Tiffany Stratton Julia match. Check out Jacob Fatu's opening, and check out Cody Rhodes' promo. Needless to say, I will be back on Monday for the Raw review, or Tuesday. I will be back Tuesday for the Raw review, doing this new format for you guys. Let me see here. I'll be back for you guys on Tuesday with the Raw review. I know this was a little bit of a long stream, but I just wanted to fill everybody in on the WWE releases as part of the opening of this. Because I plan on doing news coverage at some point when I have more time and I'm not working, So I figured I'd give you guys the update of the releases here instead of waiting. So I will see you guys next week for the SmackDown Summary, and I will see you guys on Tuesday for the Raw review as we build up to Backlash. I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you guys Tuesday. Peace.